Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Jade. I am the co-owner of Legendary Real Estate Services, and today we're going to cover 3 ways to build wealth through refinancing your real estate. So the first strategy we're going to talk about is refinancing your existing loan with the same interest rate that you had previously when you first took out your mortgage and at the same amortization period. Now, if your original interest rate was much higher, you might be thinking to yourself, why would I ever do that? It makes no sense to refi at the same higher interest rate when we're at historically low interest rates. You are absolutely right. We would never do that. I would never recommend doing that. However, for this particular strategy, I want to show you the magnitude of refinancing your existing loan balance as opposed to just keeping the original mortgage. And quite frankly, we're not going to always have these low interest rates. And just because the interest rates may not be different, it's still a really powerful strategy, this refinancing at a lower existing loan balance. So the first thing we're going to need to do is gather some essential variables. Now, I picked most of these arbitrarily. So say you initially bought your home for $500,000. Your interest rate then was 6.75 and your amortization period was 30 years. So if you haven't yet refinanced and you're still sitting at 6.75, you must be jonesing for a refi at this point. Now, let's look at where I got the $468,000. So if you take the initial variables that we discussed, your annual mortgage payment, and you can Google just annual mortgage calculator, will be approximately $39,000. Now let me explain this graph. Technically it should be going out to 30 years, but obviously space on the screen is limited, so I'm just showing you the first 10. Your initial loan balance is $500,000 because that's the mortgage you took out. Your annual fixed rate mortgage is going to be that $39,000 per year. Now the interest accrued, that's at 6.75, multiplied it by $5,000. Now you'll notice your mortgage stays the same every year, but something interesting is happening. The amount you pay in interest per year, even though your mortgage payment stays the same, it's slowly decreasing over time. Why is that happening? Because at the end of every year, you have a lower balance. So at the end of the year, $494,000 becomes a beginning loan balance. Multiply that by the 6.75%, that ends up with a lower annual interest payments. So you're paying the same amount of mortgage. So what's happening is you're paying less in interest, but more in principal. So you're slowly over time paying off your mortgage a lot faster. So that's what this particular graph is showing. So let's imagine we're at year 5 after we had just bought our home at $500,000. At year 5, with this particular amortization, our ending loan balance is $468,000. So that's where I got this particular number from. Now moving forward, if we refinance that new loan balance of $468,000 at that same old 6.75% interest rate, that brings our annual loan payment down from our previous of 39 to 36. Now that's a 6.34% change less that you're paying in annual mortgage payments per year. That's a significant amount of savings you have of dollars in your pocket at the end of every year. This is showing you what you're paying over the life of your loan. So over those 30 years. So before you refinance, you're going to be paying over the life of your 30 years approximately $982,000 in mortgage over the life of the 30-year loan. Of that, $513,000 is how much you'll pay in interest over the life of that loan. Now, after refinancing, you're going to pay a little bit more in interest. And the reason being is because your annual mortgage payment is less. You're paying less, but you're also paying less in principal. Therefore, your ending loan balance is going to be a little bit higher, which is why you're paying a little bit more in interest after refinancing. However, you're paying much less as far as your mortgage payment every year. All right, so now that we see the magnitude of how much you save of dollars in your pocket every year, even though you're paying a little bit more in interest rate over the lifetime of the loan, let's get to the next strategy, which is a lot more interesting and fun. Okay, so this strategy, we're going to refinance again the existing loan, but this time, thankfully, at a lower interest rate over the same amortization period. So we're going to assume the same variables. The $500,000 in the original balance, the current balance, the amortization. But this time, we're going to use that 3.5% interest rate for this equation. Now, we know that our new loan balance is about $468,000. However, when we do the mortgage calculation, our annual payment is now $25,000 per year, which is a significant drop from the last strategy. That's about a 35% change in overall in how much you're going to be saving in your mortgage payment. Again, these are the calculations. This should go out to 30 years, limited on space. So what does this mean overall in savings as far as dollars in your pocket at the end of every year and over the life of the loan? Well, you're going to be paying 35% less every year in your mortgage payment. But more importantly, after you refinance, this $283,000, that's a new amount of interest you're going to be paying over the life of the loan, out of the mortgage you're going to be paying over the life of the loan of $636,000. That's a net savings in interest alone of $232,000 of interest that you won't be paying to the bank. That is pretty cool. All right. So now the third strategy, and this is a little bit more intricate. This is for really more of the savvy investor who wants to really use their equity that they've been building to really start building up their investment portfolio. And this is refinancing to extract equity while getting a lower interest rate. So we're going to need the same variables, but we're going to need one more thing. What is your property value 5 years from when you purchase? How much is it worth? So you bought it at $500,000. How much is it worth now? So what I did here, at 3% a year of inflation, appreciation should be about 3% on par with it. At the end of 5 years, your home that you bought for $500,000 should be approximately $579,000. So that's the variable that we need to calculate to figure this out. Once we have that variable, if we're going to refinance, what we're going to do is we're going to refinance our mortgage, not for the existing loan balance that we had previously calculated, but we're going to refinance at what our property is valued now, 5 years after we purchased it. So this is what it looks like. This is what your property is worth right now, 5 years after purchased it. This is your loan balance, which means we can extract out an equity of about $111,000 in our pocket that we can reuse to reinvest in more real estate. Now we're going to ask for a lower interest rate, so that's where I picked the 3.5 over the same amortization period. As you can see, our annual loan payment is still lower than what we were originally paying, even though we're extracting about $100,000. And that's still a 19% less we're paying every year in our annual mortgage. So this is actually what's happening. Our loan advance is $579,000. We're paying $20,000 now in interest, which is that 3.5 times that $579,000. That leaves us with an annual balance of $568. And if we keep doing the math, what it comes out to is we've extracted $111,000 in equity. We've decreased our payment by 19% per year, and we're saving $163,000 over the life of the loan in interest payment, even after extracting that $111,000. So this is a really powerful strategy to really leverage your portfolio. Obviously, we're going to want to time this with the real estate cycle. Using this strategy, it's much harder to do this in a recession or as the economy is recovering, because lending standards are very tight. They're very hesitant to be departing with that kind of money. So that's why we want to keep our eye on the real estate cycle and where we're at, where the months of inventory or the absorption rate is, which is in another video that you can watch. But this, again, all three strategies, and especially this one, it's a really powerful strategy to leverage the wealth. Basically, the property is paying you. It's paying you to purchase it and to really expand your portfolio. So I realize that this is a video. However, if you have any questions, I know I went rather quickly through the math of it. If you have any questions on the math, you want me to sit down and walk you through the spreadsheet a little bit more in depth, or perhaps you just want us to walk you through a customized refinance analysis of your own property, feel free to reach out. Our website, Legendary Real Estate Services. There's my email if you're looking for a great real estate agent in Southeast Wisconsin who knows the real estate market and has been doing business as a realtor and broker for 30 years. My partner, Chris, that's our number. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions. We'd be happy to help you or give you a no obligation consultation. And from the Legendary team, from all of us, just wanted to say thank you for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, and take care now. Bye.